Since Caitlin Clark has entered the league, the prevailing conversation around the WNBA has been drawing power.
Angel Reese once boldly stated that people tune into women's basketball because of her. A confident take until her return to LSU with the Chicago Sky painted a different picture. You'd expect Baton Rouge to roll out the purple carpet for her, right?
There's one thing that Angel Reese is not. Angel Reese is not a draw. If you haven't believed me before, this weekend further proved that point. Because the Bayou Barbie was officially rejected in the Bayou. Angel Reese was rejected at home.
But that didn't happen. The 13,000-seat arena was barely half full, with around 6,300 attendees, and that's being generous. In contrast, Caitlin Clark had fans dropping serious cash just for a glimpse. Her preseason matchup was sold out in a flash. The difference? Painfully obvious. Photos Reese might wish disappeared show empty sections, cheap $15 tickets left untouched, giveaways galore, and a crowd so quiet it was uncomfortable. She said she'd elevate the sport, but the attention clearly went elsewhere. If you're backing Caitlin, type CC is the needle in the comments. Let's ride.
How embarrassing! Now, you're not going to hear this from the mainstream media who continues to pretend that the Bayou Barbie is beloved. You're not going to hear this from the media who continues to pretend that Angel Reese is a huge star.
Now let's look at why Reese's LSU homecoming may have stung worse than one of her infamous blown layups. This wasn't just another outing, it was meant to be the centerpiece. Her much-anticipated return to the school that put her on the map. The same campus where she once lifted a national championship trophy live on air. A place where fans once screamed her name like she was LSU's version of Beyoncé. This was supposed to be a victory lap, a hometown hero's welcome.
The Chicago Sky go into LSU, the home court of Angel Reese. Man, it's going to be lit. It's going to be lit.
Instead, it came off like a ghost town with a scoreboard. The pictures are all over social media and they're not flattering. Huge parts of the arena were dead silent. Some sections looked like no one had entered at all. Rows and rows of empty chairs stared back. The upper deck wasn't even opened. Why? Because they couldn't fill the lower bowl. For someone claiming to revolutionize the game, the whole vibe was more local pickup night than WNBA royalty returning home.
Nobody showed up to this sucker. Nobody. Let me just blow this. Look at that. I noticed it right off the bat. Look, number one, look at all the purple seats down here in this lower bowl section. And then the entire top bowl, forget about it. Forget about it.
And here's the kicker: tickets were dirt cheap. Prices were slashed, and some seats were literally given away. Most cost around $15. That's less than what you'd pay to park at an NBA arena. You could hit a movie with snacks for more than that. Yet the stands still looked deserted. Even a selfie and a coupon couldn't save it. The same player who claims she's the reason people follow women's hoops couldn't even get half the stadium full at the very school where she once led the charge. Think about that.
Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese are not the same. Both had their homecoming celebrations this weekend. One of them sold out in 27 minutes. The other one couldn't give away free tickets.
Let's crunch the numbers. To reach halfway capacity, they needed about 6,670 attendees. Angel came up short by roughly 300. That's not almost, that's a clear miss. And for someone who regularly touts herself as the sport's game changer, drawing fewer people than a small-time concert is hardly the win she seems to think it is.
In case you were wondering, I did do the math. How many seats were actually left last night? Over 6,800. In a 13,000 capacity arena, there was over 6,800 seats still available. And some people were saying, by the way, that literally there were some $15 tickets out there.
Even the broadcast team seemed to sense something was off. Every camera shot was framed tighter than one of Angel's TikTok clips. But social media doesn't miss a beat. And fans? They were loud about what really went down. Images spread showing an arena so empty it practically echoed, seats more deserted than her so-called superstar status.
Look at all those empty seats, folks. That is crazy as hell. I mean, empty, all that. Never mind all this. They could have put black tarps over it. Look at that. Look at that. Look, the WNBA still got problems. They got problems over and beyond one player. I don't know what they do about it.
You might be thinking, all right, it's just one night. What's the big deal? But here's the catch. Angel's been vocal for months, insisting she's the one drawing, in crowds and driving the sport forward. But numbers don't lie. Empty rows don't lie. Silence doesn't lie. No matter how flashy her content gets, the 6,300 fans in a 13,000-seat building tell the actual story.
The Brazilians sent their national team to Baton Rouge to open the WNBA preseason against the Chicago Bravado. The event was marketed as a homecoming for Angel Reese. The Bayou Barbie returns to the Bayou to be worshipped by her millions and millions of adoring fans.
This was supposed to be her shining return, the big homecoming event. Instead, it felt more like a flop dressed up in school colors. The very university that helped shape her public image barely blinked. Whatever fan loyalty she once had seemed to have moved on. And if Angel Reese can't draw attention at LSU, where else can she? Now look at who is commanding the spotlight, Caitlin Clark. While Angel played in front of near silence and cropped camera shots, Clark was packing stadiums. Her preseason game in Iowa wasn't just sold out, it was electrifying. The crowd was nonstop energy. You could have paid off a bill reselling those seats. The demand? Unreal. The energy? Off the charts. Caitlin isn't just filling arenas, she's rewriting the script.
Finding affordable tickets for the Indiana Fever preseason game against Brazil at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Seats at the arena for the May 4th matchup between the Indiana Fever and Brazil were first offered to season ticket holders and a few top donors. It didn't take long for them to be gone.
Now here's where things really start to turn wild. You might want popcorn for this one. When Caitlin Clark's preseason tickets hit the market at Carver Hawkeye Arena, they didn't sell out over time. They weren't gone after an hour or two. No, they vanished in just 27 minutes. Not even half an hour. That's faster than choosing a drive-through combo meal. People were refreshing the page like it was a Taylor Swift drop. And again, this was only preseason. That's not subtle star appeal, it's full-on fireworks. You can't miss the contrast. Angel's return felt like a missed RSVP. Clark's appearance? A momentous event. One rookie is struggling to fill seats where she once ruled. The other is being treated like an A-lister on tour. That's not hype, it's fact.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize.
Caitlin Clark has made WNBA preseason matchups feel like primetime events. Meanwhile, Angel Reese couldn't even get her old school to show up for one evening. Some might blame scheduling or advertising or even the weather. But here's the truth. If she truly had magnetic pull, none of that would have mattered. The empty seats speak louder than any headline or interview quote ever could.
The crowd was praising their Bayou Barbie. The chants of Angel Reese could be heard all the way in the third row. Problem is, I wouldn't exactly call it a crowd. Even calling it a small gathering might be inappropriate. Perhaps a more suitable description would be a family reunion.
This isn't about one underwhelming turnout. It's a trend. Everywhere. Caitlin Clark goes, ticket prices spike, jerseys disappear from shelves, and online chatter explodes. She's not only transforming how fans engage with women's basketball, she's changing who's watching it altogether. Angel Reese can keep pushing her narrative, but while she talks, Clark keeps delivering. The craziest part? Fans are shelling out hundreds, sometimes thousands on resale sites just to see her warm up in preseason. Not playoffs, not title games, just preseason run-throughs. That's what true influence looks like. that's what Caitlin Clark is becoming a generational presence.
Then here we have today, basically clapping back at all of that and proving that they know that they are the moment, they are the Showtime team, they are the biggest team currently in the WNBA. This kind of stuff is not only good for the Indiana Fever, it's good for the entire WNBA.
Now flip that energy. Angel Reese's return to LSU came off more like a clearance sale than a celebration. Tickets were down to $15, and even that didn't move the needle. You could have taken a date and grabbed concessions for less than a single resale seat at a Fever game. And still, people stayed home. On the other side, Caitlin's drawing such massive interest that opposing teams are scrambling to find larger arenas. Entire matchups are being moved just to manage the overflow. That's not clever branding, it's economic impact in motion. She's not just scoring, she's stimulating local economies.
Now, what I also think is hilarious is that they took that a step further. So if you go to the team store, the Indiana Fever's team store, you will see that they have a brand new t-shirt that they are selling. And that t-shirt says, "Every game is a home game." And then on the back, it says, "Now you know," with a sold out banner with all of their basically schedule. It's like a tour t-shirt and it says, "Every game is a home game."
With such a stark contrast between those who fill venues and those who clear them, one question answers itself. Who's truly selling out games? The numbers are clear. The signs that say sold out don't lie. The darkened upper levels and packed entrances tell the whole tale. And every indicator points to Caitlin Clark. She's selling seats faster than concert headliners, while Angel Reese couldn't even reach half capacity at her own tribute night. And if you're thinking it's just hometown loyalty, think again. Caitlin is packing arenas in cities she's never even played in before. These aren't Iowa locals tagging along. These are widespread fans showing up just to witness her play. Meanwhile, Angel couldn't draw in the very fans who cheered her through a championship season. What does that say?
As family and friends of Angel Reese welcome the Bayou Barbie back to the Bayou, pay very, very close attention to the so-called crowd. Roll the clip. This was her homecoming. This was supposed to be a night of celebration. It looked like an LSU home game in November of 2023, when Angel Reese was supposedly at the height of her drawing power. Thousands of empty seats.
Remember, when Angel Reese posted that confident message online? She didn't imply it, she flat out said people watch women's basketball because of her too. It wasn't taken out of context or misunderstood. That was her unfiltered statement, bold, clear, and entirely her own. A direct claim that she's just as responsible for the sport's rise as anyone else. No question it was a strong assertion. But where's the evidence?
Sorry, young lady. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody would be watching the WNBA additionally for you. This is all about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is bringing the money to the game, the planes to the game, the TV viewership. The WNBA is on fire because of Caitlin Clark.
Let's talk numbers because numbers don't lie. This isn't about opinions or spin. The turnout for Angel Reese's LSU return didn't resemble a celebration. It looked more like a memorial service with scoreboards. If she truly has the impact she claims, then where was the crowd? One thing's for sure, they weren't sitting in those empty seats.
According to the mother of Angel Reese, who also refers to herself as Angel Reese, according to the original Angel, they are not celebrating her drawing power, mainly because it doesn't exist. They are celebrating championships. Mama Reese got on social media and clapped back at the haters, which in this case were Caitlin Clark fans who were pointing out the empty arena. According to Mama Reese, Caitlin and Angel are not the same. We celebrating championships over here.
And here's where it gets weird. Angel Reese has millions of followers online. Millions. You'd think some of that digital popularity would turn into real-life support. But instead, the stands were nearly silent. Her online audience seemed to disappear when the ball hit the hardwood. Maybe they're more into her outfits than her box scores. Because 6,300 fans? That sounds like a sleepy college scrimmage knot. The grand return of someone who says she's shifting the culture. If she's truly a fan magnet, they must have missed the meme or just stuck to liking her photos from their couches.
One of them packed 15,000 paid fans into the arena. The other couldn't fill the lower bowl.
Which brings us to the bigger issue. Are we watching a rising star or just a viral name? Because at this point, Angel Reese seems to trend more for her Instagram than her impact on the court. Are we dealing with a game changer or just a content creator who occasionally plays? One puts fans in seats. The other racks up likes.
But look at their career trajectories since then. Caitlin Clark is the only draw in the history of women's basketball. Angel Reese couldn't sell out home games at LSU, couldn't sell out home games in the WNBA in Chicago, can't fill half the arena for her homecoming celebration. Caitlin Clark doesn't beg for attention. Matter of fact, I would imagine that Caitlin Clark gets tired of the attention.
That loud statement she made about bringing attention to the sport? It didn't stand a chance against those barren bleachers in Baton Rouge. You can't retouch rows of empty chairs. They shout louder than any viral tweet or flashy headline. You can post all day long, but if no one shows up when it counts, then the buzz doesn't mean much. Let's be honest. Angel Reese is starting to look more like a digital personality who plays basketball than a true attraction. She's winning fashion deals and landing partnerships. But where are the fans putting down cash and chanting her name in real time? They definitely weren't inside that arena.
She does everything she can to keep her name in the headlines, yet for some reason, it doesn't translate to ticket sales, doesn't translate to television ratings. Angel Reese was the biggest star in Unrivaled. Hell, she was the only star in Unrivaled. No one was watching.
Interview 20. No amount of filters can hide what really happened. That whole future face of the league storyline is beginning to crack, and not just in media circles. Fans are seeing it too. If you can't fill even half a gym in the city that helped launch your fame, then maybe the hype's louder than the support. The verdict's already in, people voted with their feet by not showing up. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's presence crashes ticket sites. Angel Reese had marked down seats sitting untouched. Want to know who's truly pushing the sport forward? Just do a head count. If you're riding with Caitlin, type CC is the needle. In the comments, smash that like and turn on alerts for Basketball Prime stories.